Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me. This is just my favorite time coming together with you, these videos. And I hear from God, when I come and do these. Just yesterday, when I was reading through a portion of Luke chapter 2, when Jesus was in the temple, and he had kind of gone up against his parents, not conflictually, but just he had deviated from a commitment to his parents to honor God. You can watch the video on Luke 2, the playlist. It would have been the second part of that chapter. But it's later on in the day. I came up against something and I was being pulled in this commitment, but I really felt the Lord wanted me to focus on something else and really just put my hand to something. I knew it might, others might not be pleased that I'm not putting my time and effort into something. That verse came back to my mind that Jesus, there's a time and a place you got to just see through what God has called you to do, even if people are pulling in different directions. Good people, Christian people. That was Jesus with his parents. The second half of Luke 2. It says in John 14:26, Jesus said that, the Holy Spirit, he said, will call to your mind things I've taught and will teach you all things. This ongoing whisper and lead of God. And part of that is God calling to your mind things he's already taught. He brings them back to your mind. I remember Jesus said. It's the same in life. You'll say, I remember so-and-so said this, or to prioritize this. I mean, we do it in life. In relationships, Jesus does the same. He calls back to our mind things that have been taught and recorded for us that we've come to learn through our pursuit of God. Do you remember yesterday, the first 5 verses of chapter 2 is about this intentional pursuit of God. Then you will understand the fear of the Lord. As we intentionally pursue, as we are attentive in our ear, as it said yesterday, verse 2, Proverbs 2:2, attentive. We remember things that Jesus said, and he uses them. He brings them back to us like treasure. He pulls them out. Remember that truth that caught your eye? Well, I'm whispering it to you now to guide you left or right. That's what he said he would do. So I love these times. I learn from them. God opens them up to me. In the same way I'm sharing with you, God's sharing with me. We're learning together in this, honestly. So let's go ahead and read chapter 3. Now, I had to make a decision about Proverbs. Proverbs is so packed with wisdom that you could almost make a quiet time or a video off every verse. I kid you not. And honestly, even though we'll read chapter by chapter and break it down, there might be Proverbs in there that really are your whole day's daily bread, so to speak, that you land on, you memorize, you come back to just one verse. So, but we're going to go chapter by chapter. So let's hit it. Let's hit chapter 3, Proverbs 3, all 35 verses, and then we'll break it down a little bit. First coffee. Okay. My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and peace will they add to you. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. I need to remember that. Bind them, man. So you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will be bursting with wine. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline or be weary of his reproof. For the Lord reproves him whom he loves, as a father the son in whom he delights. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding, for the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. She is more precious than jewels, and nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand, in her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her. Those who hold her fast are called blessed. The Lord, by wisdom, founded the earth. By understanding, he established the heavens. By his knowledge, the deeps broke open and the clouds dropped down the dew. My son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life for your soul and adornment for your neck. Then you will walk on your way securely, and your foot will not stumble. If you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of sudden terror or of the ruin of the wicked when it comes, for the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in your power to do it. Do not say to your neighbor, "Go and come again, tomorrow I will give it," when you have it with you. Do not plan evil against your neighbor who dwells trustingly beside you. Do not contend with a man for no reason when he has done you no harm. Do not envy a man of violence, and do not choose any of his ways. For the devious person is an abomination to the Lord, but the upright are in his confidence. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Toward the scorners he is scornful, but to the humble he gives favor. The wise will inherit honor, but fools get disgrace. Chapter 3. Isn't there just so much in there? I am just struck when I read it. One thing that went through my head today, and I want to share this though. You know, we read a chapter today. We can't contain this, right? But I believe it's right to read it. Let it flow over us. The spirit of wisdom, the spirit of truth. Here's what's important. Not that we retain everything in our mind when you go away from the teaching of God. Not that you can retain everything in your mind, but that the Spirit is imbued by it. Your heart retains its spirit. That's why we drink of the word. We can't remember every chapter and verse. We can't remember everything we've read. But as we come to it, like to a fountain or like standing in the wind, it's a refreshment. And it calibrates our thinking. It helps us see and recognize as life goes on what falls into wisdom, what doesn't. This little reminder to me, it's humbling. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in your power to do. But then he specifies, do not say to your neighbor, "Go and come again tomorrow, I will give it." I can be a bit, neighbor wants to borrow this, borrow that, and I have all my good reasons. I don't want this wrecked. I don't want this. It's like, this is a good reminder for me. Give it, let go. Honor people, give your stuff. Luke 16:9 says, use your worldly wealth to gain friends, so that when it is gone, they will welcome you into eternal dwellings. The interesting word of Jesus. Use your wealth to buy friends, right? It's like, it's classic. A couple of verses, let's reflect. What caught my eye in verse 3, when he's talking about love, and he says, "Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart." Why, when it comes to steadfast love and faithfulness, why do we need to bind them to ourselves? Because My friends, we wake up every day and they fly away from us. Steadfast love and faithfulness, we're so weak, we're so lustful, we're so sinful that if we don't bind these truths to us, we're taken by the winds of sin. We have to bind them. Again, this vision of I don't know, one word I suppose I would, the Bible right now as I read it, it'd be like hashtag intentional. It is so intentional. It's tiring, but it's a good reminder. We're in a battle. Bind steadfast love. Are you faithful to who you're supposed to be faithful to? Are you turning your eyes away from things you shouldn't be looking at? It says, then you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man. God has written it in the stars, so to speak. He's decreed it in spirit. If you are a faithful, steadfast person, you will have favor with God, and God is going to make that truthfulness and integrity in you resonate even with mankind. It's true. Then famous verses. You might want to write these ones up on your fridge. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will make your paths straight. Verse 5-6. Again, 9 and 10. Honor the Lord with your wealth and he'll bless you. Proverbs 3:9-10. That's probably one of the strongest two simple verses really even about tithing. I never really hear these referenced, but it's just like, honor God with the first fruits of what you have and he'll bless your land. Don't despise discipline. Don't become weary of it. He reproves those he loves. I believe that's quoted in the New Testament somewhere. The Lord disciplines those he loves. Is that in Hebrews? Speaking of God and Jesus. Wisdom, the pursuit of wisdom, better than gold, more precious than jewels. What I find interesting about the Proverbs is it gives us wisdom, right? It gives us just hard and fast nuggets of truth, but then it also exhorts us about wisdom itself. Pursue it, bind it, love it, hold it, more precious than gold. Then it gives us wisdom, but it keeps reminding us of the very value of wisdom itself. Then it gives us wisdom. But it gives it so that, and it keeps reminding us, now, what I'm about to tell you, it's worth more than gold, right? So the Proverbs, I feel, speaks almost as much about wisdom as it does in giving us wisdom. Do not be afraid of sudden terror. By wisdom, God created. That's very important to remember. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. By understanding he established the heavens. Verse 19. By his knowledge the deeps broke open. True wisdom is power. It's not just knowledge. It's by God. By wisdom, God founded the earth. It's a power, spirit. It's the Spirit of God. It's more than knowledge. It's heart, right? Wisdom. Do not envy a man of violence. Oh, it's so easy to envy. So many people can prosper through not focusing on God. You feel, why are these people so successful? They have no fear of God. They don't love God. Don't envy them. There's a blessing on the house of the upright. He blesses the dwelling of the righteous. Towards the scorners he is scornful. There is an inheritance in faith, my friends. Don't turn your head left or right for where there's wealth. Don't. We're warned about it. Even the rich fool, Luke 12. There's nothing seemingly immoral about this man. He's just a lover of money. He's a very successful businessman, and God says, you fool. You fool. And he takes his life, and the wealth disappears. You can't serve God and money. Jesus said it. Godliness with contentment is great gain. Is that 1 Timothy 6:6 maybe? I'll have to check that. the warnings of God about loving money. Just be humble. Be. Let go. The true blessing of God is on the heart. It's from the heart. He looks at the heart. The last will be first. Matthew 20, verse 16. The last will be first. Has not God chosen those who are poor in the eyes of the world, James 2:5, to be rich in faith? And Hebrews 11:6 tells us that faith is God's currency. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. Wealth, wisdom, contentment, faith, the blessing of God on your head because of these things you value, according to this. The wise will inherit honor. All right. Should we leave it there? Let's leave it there. God bless you, my friends. Thanks for connecting.